is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin' Cowboys.
Streaming live from Dallas Cowboys training camp
In Oxnard, California.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And welcome into Talkin' Cowboys, final week of training camp out here in Oxnard, California. And boy, do we have a show today. A full hour to digest Cowboys-Niners. 17-9, San Francisco wins the preseason opener on Saturday night from Levi's Stadium. We all made it back safely, and we've got a lot of time to discuss everything. First team, second team, third team, highlights, lowlights. How are you guys, Mickey and Brian Broaddus?
Doing well. Ready to dive into this thing. Plenty to get to, as you said.
I like the word safely.
Yeah. Long drive back from another feat of strength from Brian Broaddus, getting us through the night, through the fog.
You almost beat the bus back.
Yeah.
Well,
Safely, though. He's a safe driver.
Yeah. Rob, my co-pilot, got me home.
Absolutely. Okay, we can take this anywhere we want to go. I was going to break it into categories, but I really wanted to just kind of open it up to you guys. Top standout from this game the other night. Thing that really stuck with you from watching 4 quarters of finally some preseason action from this team.
Good or bad or both?
Either one. Both.
Well, you know what? That's what preseason games are, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of good, a little bit of bad, and you hope you don't get too injured. And the Cowboys got out of the game with just, it looked like, 2 injuries that we know of. Unfortunately for Luke Gifford, after a fine first half there, he had a couple tackles, the interception. I think he might have had a pass broken up. And
he made a nice tackle right before the pick.
Right.
Yeah. Open field.
And then he suffers the high ankle sprain. When I bumped into him yesterday, he's walking around in crutches and a big old walking boot.
Yeah.
And it sounded like he said that he tore a ligament in his ankle, so that's the high ankle sprain. And that's probably usually 6 weeks. So Cowboys will probably have a decision to make on what they do with a guy when the roster cut gets down. Because I think they want to keep his rights somehow, some way, right?
Sure do.
So either you put him on the 53 and act like he's the 53rd, or you put him on injured reserve and you can say, okay, we'll recall him once his 8 weeks are up and get him back on the team so he can practice. And then Cedric Wilson will be in the concussion protocol this week. That was a vicious hit he took.
Sure did.
But he got the pass led him right into it, though.
Ejection. Yeah. Ejection for that.
That's how vicious it was, and they didn't even have to look at it very long. So he'll be, and that's unfortunate because of all the young receivers, he caught everybody's eye, right?
Yeah, he absolutely did. I think it's a great analogy.
And then he showed he can return punts. The big thing on that is, can you catch the punts?
Right.
And I thought both guys, Reggie Davis and Cedric, did a nice job of catching the ball.
Yeah, I think that my biggest takeaway was I was really pleased with what the first defense was able to do. Again, San Francisco weren't playing all their starters. Mullins, quarterback, he's a quality quarterback. If you watch how he gets rid of the football, moves things around, I was really encouraged how the secondary tackled. They tried to get the ball out quick a couple different times. You had Awuzie on a play. You had Jordan Lewis on a play. You had Anthony Brown on a play. Tackling in the secondary is so important. Not only can these guys cover, but the ability to come up, make plays, get their guy on the ground, prevent that big run after catch. How many times have we seen a tackle get broken and then it turns into an extra 20 or 25 yards? These guys didn't allow that from the first defense. I loved what I saw from the linebackers, too, in this. I mean, we talk about what Gifford was able to do coming in, but how about Justin Phillips coming in?
Second half.
Second half. And really, he had the type of game tackling that I thought that Luke Gifford was going to have.
Health provided, yeah.
Health provided, yeah. And so this shows you a little bit of the depth that they have. And then we had a question this morning, I think, in the mailbag. Are we worried about the depth of the team, of what you've seen from the threes and stuff? I think there's some key guys that played well some of those backup guys that played well. And then the guys who didn't play well, they've got 3 more weeks, and they could cut themselves. That's something that the depth on this team will be, in my opinion, the right depth. If we're talking about keeping Luke Gifford as the 53rd guy, that's a pretty good problem to have, folks, because he was going to, in all likelihood, make this team. It was going to come down to likely him or Covington or one of those guys. But I do like what I saw defensively. I like what I saw from the first offense. Now, people say, oh, well, what happened in the red zone, Brian? What happened with all that? Okay.
Oh, he's sighing over here.
No. That's what I'm saying. The red zone stuff is, no Zeke, no Zach Martin, no Amari Cooper.
They gave Jason Witten the night off.
No Jason Witten.
Yep.
Okay, and it's like, well, are you worried about what you saw from Kellen Moore? Matter of fact, from the broadcast booth watching and then going back and watching the tape, if that pass is not tipped at the line of scrimmage, it's a touchdown to Blake Jarwin. I mean, Dak made the right read to get it there. Now, if you want to talk about what happened at the end of the game, okay, that's Mike White trying to do something, and he got caught on a couple. I mean, again, they had Devin Smith running free in the back of the end zone, and he tried to throw the ball underneath.
Darius Jackson was open on 4th down. I don't know what he saw with pressure,
right?
But there were opportunities.
Yeah, there were, and so I'm not sitting here trying to blow smoke up everybody's rear right now and say, oh, but you do have to. If you look at the first offense, you do have to see that what the players they were minus. And, again, they're not going to do anything really creative down there to make you feel like, okay, this is, you want them to score, but you know what, it is what it is. And I'm not going to knee-jerk after one preseason game, because I think from what I've seen out here, I've seen this offense move the ball in the red zone against a good defense. That's what I've seen. So I'm not going to sit there and say Kellen Moore is just an idiot, and they don't tap the brakes on all that.
I think they'll go 1-15 and never score a touchdown.
Cancel the season?
Yeah. This is
just a continuation of red zone from last year.
Yeah.
God, this is the pro and con of preseason, because you get to evaluate the young guys on your team, but it also opens up to knee-jerk reactions off of a 9-play drive, and that's it. And I am not. You're right. We've seen some good things from this offense out here in camp, but I'm reserving declarations about Kellen Moore's offense till week 1 of the regular season, because they gain nothing by showing their hand right now.
Yeah, see, that's the thing to me, is that I've seen enough. Well, I shouldn't say enough. I've seen things out here in these practices, the practices that we've been able to watch, that leads me to believe that Kellen Moore is creative. Kellen Moore has an idea of how he wants to get the ball to his personnel and how he wants to use that personnel and how he could fit this offense to fit Dak Prescott and take advantage of this offensive line. That's, to me, that's the encouraging thing. I mean, you're not going to see that in a preseason game right now.
Look, the defense you mentioned did what they should have done against the backup San Francisco. All they did was start one wide receiver. The rest of their offense was backups to start the game. And so the defense did what they should have done. They limited them to 28 yards in the first quarter. That's what you want to see. The offense did what you wanted to see. They drove from the 28 down to the 6-yard line. So that's what you want to see. Okay, they didn't score, but as Brian said, the ball got batted. Otherwise, it's a touchdown.
I honestly, watching the film, it's a touchdown. Blake Jarwin.
And again, it wasn't the red zone, but it was 1st and 10 at the 24, and then it was 1st and 10 at the 12. Yeah. So they did move the football, and they weren't trying anything fancy if you look at it.
No.
1st and 10 at the 24, Pollard. 2nd and 7 at the 21. He throws a little short pass for a couple yards. 3rd and 1, it's Pollard again. Then it's 1st and 10, Pollard again. So they were trying to run the ball and get Pollard some work and then get him out of there.
And one thing Jerry said, and Jerry's been through a lot of these preseasons, he said afterward was, in these games, I'm looking at players. I'm not looking at the overall team and how, because there's so much interchange with substitutions and everything. I thought Tony Pollard, he was really complimentary of Tony Pollard. He ran hard with the 4 carries that he got. You saw Blake Jarwin take advantage of some opportunities with Witten getting the night off. And what was encouraging to me was there was carryover with certain guys from what we've seen out here.
Right.
Jarwin getting up the field.
Right.
Cedric Wilson building on a solid camp and making a case to grab a roster spot. Guys like that.
Yeah. And let's not go to sleep on Taco. Taco had a good game.
That's another one. That's another one.
Yeah,
with his rushes and he created a hold for them.
Sure did.
And he had the hit and he had another hurry. He had a nice day.
Yes.
And so. You just can't get carried away. How would you like to be San Francisco right now,
with 18
showing up
penalties?
to practice today with 18 penalties for 216 yards?
Yeah.
And you know what? It was 18 that were assessed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There was a couple double penalty plays
Yeah.
and some that got declined, right?
Yeah.
They had over 20 penalties.
I think the things, if we focus on the positive, I do think there were some negatives with – I think there was some negatives with these young wide receivers, with the exception of Cedric Wilson. I was hopeful that we would see John Vay Johnson, we would see Jalen Guyton, we would see these guys come up with more plays, more opportunities. John Vay Johnson, 8 opportunities, 3 catches. If it's more like 7 and 8 or 6 and 8, you'd feel a little bit better about his game. That was a bad drop he had because they did everything right, and he did everything right except catch the football. They put the blocker up to take care of the A-gap blitz, which they're not prepping for, but they know it's going to happen. So they get they get Chun in position. He makes the block. Cooper Rush throws a beautiful pass, and it's timed well. The separation's well, but you don't get the finish. And I think that's a little bit of an issue right there. You wanted to see these guys come out and make. Now, if you want another negative thing, they did not play the waggle the boot very well, the nakeds and stuff like that.
First play of the game,
yeah,
right?
When you've got crossers, when you've got to run with crossers, or you've got to pick up crossers, that could be difficult. You got to drop, you got to turn, you got to find guys, you got to keep your eyes on the field. Is that safety play? Is that I want to ask that question today to Jason Garrett. Is there a concern about? And concern's a wrong word, but when you're looking at it, he'll probably say, "Well, we weren't game planning for that stuff."
Is that a point of emphasis?
But that's all the backups.
But that's what I'm saying though. Is it one of those things where you're thinking like, okay, maybe this is something we need to work on because they did the first play of the game. It wasn't a backup. It was coming all the way from a Awuzie's side. He was carrying, and I'm thinking, okay, was it supposed to pass or something like that? But that to me was really the only negative. I felt like, though, at the broadcast booth during the game, I felt like that Mitch Hyatt didn't play all that well from the broadcast booth. It wasn't all Mitch Hyatt, though. There was some Mitch Hyatt there.
There was a lot of Mitch Hyatt.
I didn't feel like that watching the tape, though. It wasn't.
Well,
Mickey. That's just me evaluating.
Just watching the game and watching the replays.
Sure.
He was getting beat regularly.
Sure. But the thing was, my evaluation – you also had some breakdowns with Suafilo. You also had some breakdowns with Redmond.
Campos.
They all took a turn. Maybe 4 guys do their job, 1 guy not.
Yeah.
But some of that's on Mike White too, holding the football. You know what I'm saying? Some of that's on. And you talk to people in the organization, they will tell you the one issue that they have with Mike White is holding the football. That's what they tell you. Throw it. It got to the point where Brad Sham was even saying, he's back. Throw it. We were talking in the broadcast, and that's going to be the problem. And we saw with the sense how he played with a little bit of a sense of urgency in that game, late in the game. Get rid of the ball. Make throws. Go faster. Play quicker. Play with pace. Guys are open. Hit them. Don't wait for things to happen. You make things happen.
Let it rip, as John Kitna would say.
Well,
Let it rip.
We just spent 3 minutes talking about guys that aren't going to be on this team. So
Mike White?
After that performance,
okay.
Let's go there before let's finish out the segment with the backup quarterbacks.
But again,
I appreciate you saying that.
But again, it's his. It's his first game since.
Exactly.
Since last,
I thought
both of them
and
Rush too. First game since last preseason.
And you can say
and he still hasn't played in a real game since 2017.
I thought on the flip side, the second-team offensive line gave Cooper Rush a really good opportunity to show what he could do.
But there were 3 guys inside. 3 guys inside.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is to a certain extent, I thought, and I wrote this, Cooper Rush had better fortune than Mike White did. We always talk about in these preseason games, you need some protection to fully evaluate these guys.
But San Francisco also had defensive linemen that were signed that day, pass rushing, and they still had some issues.
That's fair.
Now, I think what happened is that Joe Looney, I think, was pretty consistent throughout, but Redmond, Suafilo, Hyatt, Campos, those guys broke down. They're playing 70-something plays.
A lot of plays.
And they're not used to playing that many plays
that
in the first game.
To the injuries they've had out
Sure,
here. Thin at guard. No question.
Sure.
So just recapping the stats here. Cooper Rush played, I believe, one drive into the third quarter.
Right.
Took over after the first series that Dak played. 16 of 26, 142 yards, 76.1 rating. Mike White, 9 of 20, 87 yards. No touchdowns for either of these guys.
Pocket awareness was poor for
Lost
Mike White.
fumble.
Yeah.
Sacked 3 times, including a lost fumble.
Yeah.
Got sacked once, I think, each of his first 3 drives.
Sack on a play. Now, again, Weber missed a block that very well could have been a touchdown. He's loading up to throw the ball on the outside, and they double move the 49ers, and they get a holding on the other side of the field, which, negated the sack and the fumble. But yeah, if I'm interested to see if Mickey, if you feel like that game, even though they haven't played a whole year, is that game so damaging for Mike White that all of a sudden now it's like we can only keep 2.
Well, it might be his best opportunity because you got to figure going forward.
Yeah.
Dak's going to get more in the second game.
Right.
Rush will probably get the next, and he's going to get the scraps at the end.
Right.
The third game, he may not get anything,
Right.
and then the fourth game he gets to play again.
Right.
So, look, the biggest concern to me out of all that stuff, and there was guys that you wanted to see, but you don't want to see John Vea dropping balls.
Right.
And he's done it now in the blue-white scrimmage
that's
and in this.
I still love him.
You just wish
still love him.
Your backup offensive line would have played better, but the kicker missed a 35-yard field goal, and that doesn't have to do with anything about anybody else.
That's a great segue. Why don't we break early and come back with Brett Maher, because I feel like backup quarterback and the kicker might have been the 2 biggest topics going into this camp, other than Zeke and contracts and all that stuff, and that's what we're talking about most coming out of this game. So let's talk about Brett Maher and the kicking situation, how we assess that next on Talking Cowboys.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in 1 lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean, fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Welcome back to Oxnard, California, and don't miss your chance to see the Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium this season. You won't want to miss these exciting matchups when the Giants, Eagles, Packers, Rams, and more come to Arlington. Get your tickets now at DallasCowboys.com. All right, welcome back to the show. We're talking preseason, number one.
Preseason?
Practice. By the way, they're back at it today, this afternoon. 4 practices left in Oxnard. Is that correct?
About 3.5.
3.5.
You'll think Thursday's probably a walkthrough, don't you think, before we leave?
Before they break camp?
Or maybe not. They
maybe not.
might practice
they'll
because
practice.
Friday's a walkthrough,
Yeah,
right?
they'll practice, yeah.
He's just getting them off their feet a little sooner.
Right. Is it one of those morning practices?
10:45.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what will happen. That's good. Those practices, I like the morning practices. I do, because it kind of gives you to get your opportunity to get some stuff done and kind of figure some things out.
Yeah.
We got to kind of pack some things up here.
And you don't have to wait till the end of the day to analyze what happened. You have it done by 12:30.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it's on to
Good.
Hawaii. All right.
Do we need some Aloha music or something?
Not yet. Not yet.
Hawaii 5-0.
Definitely when we get there. All right. We talked backup starters, backup quarterback. Let's go to kicker right now. Brett Maher, we've talked about him at camp. He's made some kicks. He's missed some, a couple short kicks lately in camp. Saturday night, he was 3 of 4 on field goals. He was good from 25, 40, 31, but as Mickey said before the break, it's that 35-yard miss that everybody's harping on.
Yeah, see, and you can say, okay, well, you made 3 out of 4. Okay, well, that's 75%. I want my kicker in the high 80s. Whoa. But when you miss from 35, if he had missed from 48,
it's kind of ominous music.
Then I would say, okay, he made 3 out of 4, and his miss was from 48.
Yeah.
I can excuse that. But you can't keep missing these short ones, And the problem is, that's kind of where he left off last year too. At the end,
he was 6 of 10, I think, down the stretch on field goal attempts.
Yeah. So, it just causes you to raise your eyebrows, and I don't know what you can do about it.
Yeah.
But at some point, and there's nothing out. Everybody keeps bringing up Matt Bryant, who's 44 years old.
Yeah, the Vikings traded for the guy evidently from the Ravens.
So were they worried about Dan Bailey?
They were worried about Dan Bailey. They went proactive and just went ahead and gave up a 5th-round pick for the rights for the kicker at Baltimore.
So that tells you what's out there available right now.
Right.
So, but at some point, don't you think you just kind of bring some guys in and work them out just see?
I think when we get back to the Star,
right,
and they'll have that opportunity where they'll have the indoor facility, they'll have us away. I don't think they want to parade a bunch of kickers through here while we're standing on the field.
Which will do nothing for the guys' confidence either, right?
The problem is, though, if we're worried about the guys' confidence, how about the confidence in you if we're the coaching staff? You mentioned it, Mickey, and I think you're dead on right about this. If it's a 47-yard field goal, a 51-yard field goal, a 53-yard field goal, and you miss those, I get it. But he's been in 2 situations out here, folks, where they've driven the ball in a 2-minute drill, and he's missed both those kicks. Blue-white scrimmage, and then did it the other day.
Quote-unquote game-winning situations.
Yeah, game-winning situations where you look at they call it play it out. And they're playing it out to try and win the game. And Dak and everybody making plays or spiking balls. They're getting it up. They have 4 seconds left. They line it up. And, again, it's not a 52-yard field goal. It's a 35-yard field goal. And then it's no good. Does your confidence, does the team have confidence in you? And, they can keep saying that, we're charting, we're doing this. You're on the other field watching 7-on-7. Okay, I get it. Do I trust you? Yeah, I trust you. But also, this league is so tough if you comes down to losing games. But if you're losing games because you're missing 35-yard field goals, that makes it even worse. That right there is the big gut punch. And so they have to be, if you're talking about confidence, us having confidence or lack of, how about the coaching staff? How about his teammates? How about those folks? That's where this is all going.
Because when you drive the ball to the 17-yard line, you got to score.
You got to score.
And if it's 3 points, it's 3 points. But you got to score.
Now he made the one right before half. Beautiful drive to get in field goal range.
Nice job by Cooper Rush.
Yes, Cooper Rush moving the team. Yeah. They try that one extra play to throw to Jarwin on the sidelines. It's too high to get him a little closer.
Yeah.
But you know what? They did it right. They left themselves. And what happened when the ball went through the uprights? It was 0-0-0 on the clock.
Right.
Perfect. Couldn't do it any better.
It was like what we see out here when they practice those situations, right?
He cannot miss those field goals. But I will say those field goals that are 50 plus, okay, I get it. But he seems to be really good at those. He seems to be outstanding at those.
He tied Bailey last year, I think, for the most over 50 by a kicker in a season from Cowboys history.
And
Six.
that's
Six out of 7. But it's those money kicks.
Yeah, those kicks keep them going. Like, okay, it's the ball on the right hash.
Yeah.
And it's the same where he started missing last year, on the right hash.
Here's what Jerry said about it on Saturday night, and he doesn't seem concerned at the moment. He said, quote, "I thought it was good. It was the only way we scored tonight. You'd like for him to hit them all, but I'm glad he got the ones he got. We've got more camp days and continue to evaluate him." That's similar to what Jason Garrett said, continue to evaluate. In his case, we'll evaluate last year and this year just to sum it up. We don't have any different opinion about him after the game than we had before the game. I wonder how much of it, because we've talked about it, what's out there that's a better option. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a very strong leg.
Kickoffs were excellent.
Kickoffs,
yeah.
And keep building his confidence up
yeah.
and see if the consistency is there, and just keep giving him chance. Don't give Redfern chances. This is your kicker. Keep giving him chances in these preseason games and see if this corrects itself.
Well, that's what's going to happen. They'll let Redford punt. They got to let him kick. And as Jason said, keep giving him more opportunities. What's out there? Well, I'll tell you what's out there. If there was something out there, Minnesota wouldn't have traded a draft choice to go get a kicker on somebody else's. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's out there. And I think if you talk to folks here, they'll tell you there's not much out there.
Right.
And I don't, I think I said this the other day, but I'm not sure what's happened with kickers coming out of college.
Yeah.
But, maybe because they score touchdowns so much, the kicker only has to kick extra points, and they're kicking short extra points. So, yeah, it's just something when you talk about the stuff that really went wrong. Most of the stuff that went wrong with backups, except for him. He's your guy. He's your kicker. All the other stuff is peripheral stuff. The offensive linemen that aren't going to make this team. Maybe a wide receiver or two not going to make this team. But for most part, the backup defense actually did a decent job.
Yes.
When they turned the ball over that time, they hung in there for a field goal.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for. So we didn't mention Joe Jackson. First play in the NFL, be it preseason or not, Jalen Jelks gets a sack.
Right.
Right? And he almost had another one. So there was some good stuff up front, and they moved Joe Jackson. He had been playing on the left side.
Yeah,
they put him on the right side.
I said on the radio I was surprised because it's usually the opposite. Usually Jelks rushes from the right, and Jackson plays from the left. But you're right, Mickey. That's a good eye because they flipped it there. And maybe that's something they'll flip back. We'll see it. But, I'm waiting to see Joe Jackson play some at defensive tackle, too. That's what they kind of talk about. There was a little bit of a plan. Hey, on Periscope, Mickey, any update you've heard on Noah Brown at all? Anything about him getting in the mix? He seems to me like he's going to make this team by default, really, if he doesn't practice out here.
Well,
right?
I mean, maybe when they get back to the Star after the Hawaii trip.
Right.
Because I see him doing a little bit more each time. And, that might be an indication that he's an automatic.
Right.
Like they say, we're going to keep him, so we want to make sure he's healthy for the start of the season.
I think they view his role that he's had here as more important than maybe you might think. I mean, I know he hasn't been a big factor in the receiving game. But what he does on special teams, and they obviously must like his potential at receiver. He's a big target. I know I'm talking to the wrong guy here, but I'm just saying I think they do value him.
Well,
and I expect him to make the team. I really do.
These young guys that we've been talking about between Johnson, Guyton, Reggie Davis, they got to start producing in the games.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to do something.
Yeah,
it's one thing to do it out here in practice.
Absolutely.
You got to do what Cedric Wilson did.
Absolutely.
Go out there and say, "Oh, there's Cedric Wilson." You know what? They thought a lot of him last year. And they didn't waive him injured. They kept him on IR the whole season after he had the shoulder surgery.
Rob, just a question for you there. What defensive end, and Mickey, you could jump in. I'll jump in as well. What defensive end do you like the most of those young guys?
Of the young guys?
Yeah.
There's so many of them. Give me a roster. I've always
while you're thinking,
I've liked Jelks.
I'll just go Jelks.
I've liked Jelks since
as a matter of
here.
fact, and I'm not sure when they're going to post it, our top 10 rookies.
Right.
Jelks was pretty high.
At number 74 is jumping up in there, isn't he? Yeah.
You count Kerry Hyder as a young defensive end?
No, he's a veteran guy.
Because give him half credit on Luke Gifford's interception.
That was a great hit. Yeah, absolutely.
I would go with Jelks. He's got an unusual build. You know, he's
Jason Taylor looking.
That's what I said. Yeah, and I didn't want to make a direct comparison there, but
to a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Not from talent, but how he looks.
And he's got
his game.
He's got deceptive strength for being about 255 pounds.
Absolutely.
He's a guy that may continue to progress just based off of his pure ability. We'll see.
Yeah, you know what? If you count Dorrance Armstrong, now you're
See, I didn't even think about him because he's been on the team for a year. He's getting first team reps. To me, he's kind of established.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're going for the non-established guys,
getting distracted,
then I would say that Jelks makes a whole heck of a lot of sense, and I think that Joe Jackson will find a way to continue to develop. There's just too much power in that body. You know, he doesn't have the quickness of Jelks, but he's got power. He's got that when he hits you, we saw it out here, blue-white. He made some tackles the other day. I mean, when he hits you, you stop. He plays with that power. And I think there's something to that. So I would, if you guys would go with Jelks, I'll take the other end and say just because physically I like what Joe Jackson looks like.
Two different types of players in a way because he's 285 and you've said.
Play him inside a little bit maybe, you know.
That might be get him on the team.
No update on McGovern's update is just he's maybe
not until we get
back. Exactly.
And that's another one that could be, on IR recall, depending on what happens with veteran guys that you want to keep if they get injured.
Yep.
One more thing on the kicker situation. I think the microscope is there for a couple reasons. I mean, do you think in any part of this we're a little spoiled by what Dan Bailey did here for several years?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
sure.
No. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go away from Dan Bailey talk or what we're talking about there. Yeah.
No, absolutely. But again, you'd like your kicker to make if you can. I think there was only 7 guys last year that were in 90% range of conversions. You'd like at least high 80s.
Right.
And
that's
he
not
was
asking
what?
For
80.6.
This guy was ranked 24th in the league.
Yeah.
It was like close to 80, I think. Yeah.
And I think that when you're a team with this high expectations,
if he makes the short ones, he's in good shape.
Yeah. Well, you played 6 games last year decided by 3 points or less.
Right.
That decides your season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're talking. That's why people were talking about it. But I think they're still trying to, keep his confidence high and hope this corrects itself.
Well, just go score touchdowns.
Well, that too.
Where's
21?
Did you see anything with the veteran offensive line? Did you keep an eye on Travis Frederick in this game? Any at all?
I thought he was okay.
Yeah, I did too. I'm with you on this. I just thought I was trying to get your opinion on this before I gave my opinion.
First time back since 2017 playing a game.
Right.
It wasn't like you said, "Oh gosh."
Yeah.
He
was a liability.
He's a mile away.
Yeah.
I mean, he was fine.
I didn't see anything.
And they didn't seem to have any confusion
about
it.
No.
Yeah.
Him and Connor Williams, and then they did a nice job of picking things up at Suafilo and those guys. I think Suafilo got tired. His conditioning, I don't think, is great. But to watch Travis, there was one time he was on the ground and he was kind of like he got embarrassed by it because he slid over to help, and then all of a sudden he's trying to go up to get the run through, and he kind of got off balance, and you could tell he was sitting on the ground like, okay, why am I on the ground? You can kind of get that look. I'm not supposed to be on the ground here right now because he's always playing on his feet. But I think for the most part, though, the communication with the line, when you watch Dak Prescott and him have to move, hell, they had the front of a pocket so clean one time. The pass that went inside on the curl to Michael Gallup was they were trying to throw the slant to Tavon Austin, and he had enough time to say, and then kind of hop over a couple steps, boom. That's the front of the pocket right there, solid. When you cannot have to throw a slant to the right and come all the way back to a curl on the left and have the quarterback only move 2 steps, that's a good job by the guys up front, and that's part of Travis Frederick.
And when we talk about this offense and what they did on their first possession, it wasn't like they were just missing guys, right? They're missing Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
Right? Amari Cooper. We forget Zach Martin because we haven't seen him practice for a while.
Yep.
And by the way, and I'm not sure where Witten will be, but he was a Pro Bowler. So that's 3 Pro Bowlers that were out of your lineup, and it wasn't like just guys.
That's
right?
the red zone argument right there too. That's if you want to
key pieces in the red zone.
If you want to tell me, well, Kellen Moore red zone problems, I'll remind you of who all wasn't involved. And I've been the guy all along that says the red zone will improve because of Jason Witten, not only because of his blocking, but his ability to get up the field in that 18-yard range and make plays down the field.
And just the knack he has for finding open space in tight situations.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going.
Oh, I interrupted with the Pro Bowlers pointing out. I mean, and look at the defense.
Yeah.
No DeMarcus Lawrence, no Sean Lee.
Yeah.
I'd say the
Tyrone Crawford.
No Tyrone Crawford, no Malik Collins.
One thing on offense that did stand out for me, and that's Michael Gallup carrying over what we're seeing out here. One drive, I know 9 plays, but he accounted for 39 yards.
Pass interference penalty he drew too.
26 yards, and that's him separating and
Right.
forcing a receiver. I mean, he's a guy that looks like he's going to take a step.
Yeah, he is going to take a step.
I mean, it's visible out here.
There, you could tell he's put on a little bit more weight, but it hasn't affected his speed or quickness, and it's allowed him to fight better down the field. Where he would have probably got pushed off the field, he's not getting pushed anymore. See, that's the problem that John Bay Johnson had. You get close to silence, all of a sudden you're a lighter guy. They start leaning on you, pushing on you, getting off the field. They don't bully Gallup like they did before. Gallup got bullied a little bit by you see Gallup fight against Awuzie out here. It's like it's hand-to-hand combat off the line and then in a route, and then all of a sudden it's slinging an elbow into and you see Awuzie kind of get knocked back and he rallies, but then there's the ball. See, if that's the thing about it. When you make those contested catches, even when you don't have your best, that's what we're seeing from Michael Gallup out here. I am seeing a much more physical player. And you got a physical player in Randall Cobb. He is a physical player. You throw him the football, he is going to run up the field. Amari Cooper, you throw him the ball, he is going to run up the field. That's what they got with these receivers. And you get Blake Jarwin up the field. We saw with Blake Jarwin, they run the inside fake, and what Jarwin's playing inline Y to the left and comes all the way across, boom, ball over the top. Okay, yeah, try and cover that.
And he had another one.
He had one right down the middle. Yeah, right down the middle. Yeah, right. Oh, it was Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush.
Rush. I mean, they're in a two deep look, and he hits it perfect. And it's just Cooper threw it just a little far. I mean, you could see him reach, and the ball just off the edge of his. But that's what you got. You got a guy. Dak Prescott showing the ability, a little touch down the field, boom, drop it on him. That's a 30-yard gain right there.
So when
we
you're
saw
looking,
it to Witten do that.
So when you're looking for breakout players, don't go to sleep on those 2 guys.
Nope.
Jarwin, and I know Gallup was a starter last year, and he got better that last third of the season.
Right.
But watch out for this guy, if you want a breakout guy, because now they can't slough off the other receivers and say, we're taking Amari Cooper away.
It's like Sanjay said last week, just an overall understanding of what defenses are trying to do to you. I mean, that experience he got last year is just invaluable.
Yeah.
And then you take over his physical abilities with it. He's got a chance.
Yeah, and folks are losing their mind on Periscope right now, which they always do.
About what?
But the Cowboys, you can't – it doesn't matter who they're playing. Okay, everybody's like, oh, they're playing their backups and all that. The Cowboys didn't play starters too, okay? And if you want to sit there, you can't help who you're playing. You go out there and perform. You go out there and make plays. San Francisco's trying to figure out their lineup. They're trying to figure out who's going to make their team, Don't act like that. It's not I hate when people say this. You play who you play. That's what you do. The first team, I don't care who they're moving the ball on. They're moving the ball. That I don't care. That's that doesn't bother me.
They did what they're supposed to do.
They did what they're supposed to do. Other than a tip ball, the first offense is going to score a touchdown.
Yep.
So don't sit there and tell me, oh, they're playing their back. I don't care. I don't care about it. I just want to see them do things. I don't want to see them miss field goals. I don't want to see them drop passes. I don't care who they're playing against. Worry about yourself. That's what you need to worry about these games.
Did they not read my column? This is disappointing me.
Read Mickey's column, read Scout's Eye.
I thought I gave him a good lecture on this.
Yeah, well, they don't care. And it bothers me.
Hurts my feelings.
It bothers me because if they're doing what they're supposed to do, that's all you should care about in the preseason. That's what we're focused on. We're not focusing on San Francisco had their backup guys out there. Hell, Dallas had their backup guy. They had a backup right guard that might not make this team playing out there.
San Francisco might be all backup.
It's not fun to be rational, though, Brian.
No.
It's not fun.
I just, if you want to evaluate this team, evaluate the team. If they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, evaluate that. If they're not doing things that you're evaluating, then that's where you'd be critical. I think that's what we're trying to do here. But you can't help who you're going to play. You can't help it that Kyle Shanahan said, you know what, I hate the preseason. I'm not going to play 28 of my guys.
Yeah, and
I don't care. I'm trying to evaluate my team.
And him doing that, did their team get better?
Yeah.
So you got away with your starters being out there.
Yeah.
They got some experience, knocked some rust off, and they didn't get hurt.
And for the most part, everybody was healthy.
Now people are trying to crawfish on me. You're not crawfishing on me here
Oh,
today.
no, all right. Brian Broaddus.
No, you're saying, oh, no, I'm missing the point. No, BS. I am not missing the point.
Broaddus eats crawfish, so watch yourself.
I boil them quite well. I think you know that. The thing about it is, though, evaluate who's playing. Are they playing well or are they playing poorly? That's your evaluation, not who they're lining up across from. That's BS on your part. Sorry.
All right. I like it. All right, let's take our final break. Keep firing up on Periscope.
Yeah, appreciate you on Periscope.
But just be careful.
Yeah.
Send us some questions. We'll hit those on the way back on our final segment today on Talkin' Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
It's time for Tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper soft coolers at otterbox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Hey, you know Jack Black?
Yeah, we know him.
You don't want to run out because, well, you ran out. So 2 words, auto replenishment. You select the products, you schedule the delivery, they ship as needed. Free shipping and deluxe samples with every order. Sign up now. So go to getjackblack.com.
Auto replenishing.
How about that?
Yes. I like that.
So they'll keep your order that you normally get, and then they'll replenish it.
What's the other one we have? Management, access management, assets management.
Asset management.
Is it? Now, what's the thing Stephen Jones says?
Distribution dilemma.
Distribution dilemma. That's
so
another
now
one.
we got another one. We're going to have to make a list of these as we go along.
But I like that from Jack Black.
2-word terms, right?
Again, do we need to give the address, Jack Black? You know where we live. Send Mickey a big box. Mickey will be nice and give us our Jack Black.
They also have another thing going. Find your regimen. Want to know what you need to replenish? Discover exactly what your skin needs by the Regimen Finder. How about that?
Yeah.
So they'll give you a Q&A.
Pasty guy like me, yeah.
Pasty man?
Pasty man.
Dry skin.
Dry skin, pasty man.
Wrinkling skin.
Old man.
Big foreheads.
Whoa. What are you doing, Mickey?
Got a big forehead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It gets a little bigger, too.
We all got issues.
Yes.
Jack Black helps. Hey, don't crawfish Brian Broaddus, by the way. Whoever did that on Periscope just got the stare into the camera guy.
He knows. You know what? I
was great.
Trust me. I love the fact that we get to interact with the fans. I appreciate you, fans. I really
we love
do.
you on Periscope.
I really
Keep
do.
hitting us.
But I will say this though: you have no control over who you play.
No,
you don't.
So was the issue with the defense? Like they wanted style points because they didn't do. I mean,
they thought it was
Garoppolo wasn't in there.
They thought Alabama was playing, Troy, and they, it needed to win by 106.
Well,
that's the thing about it is, I've always done this, all my professional life. You evaluate the practice. Now we always talk about this. If Tristan Hill finds a way to win against Connor Williams or Zach Martin, and it's 1 out of every 4, But we also say, well, hey, look, Taco won one time against Tyron Smith. Wait, Taco's winning against, Cam Fleming a little bit. That's good, though, as long as he's winning. That's the thing that it doesn't matter who it is, just as long as you find a way. And if you're playing poorly, well, you'll see that. I don't care if it's against an all-pro or just a down-the-line guy. That's how you should evaluate preseason. You have no control over who Kyle Shanahan plays in these games.
And it's
none.
It's the full body of work because I keep talking about consistency. What we're seeing out here is the defense give a pretty good offense with a lot of talent, some trouble out here.
Yeah.
And it carried over with these. The most impressive thing I saw, in my opinion, in the first 2 weeks of practice is the way the secondary has been flying around out here.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw. Guys making open field tackles, Cheeto making a great play on the ball.
And without Byron Jones.
Without Byron Jones. It's encouraging.
Another Pro Bowler to my list.
Yeah, it's funny. People ask me, what does crawfishing mean? Crawfish in Louisiana swim backwards. They swim backwards. They don't swim forwards. They swim backwards. So if you're crawfishing, that means you're swimming backwards. You're in the middle. You're trying to get to the boiling pot. Oh, I'm getting out of the boiling pot. So that's what crawfishing means if the folks that ask me.
Don't be crawfishing.
Don't crawfish on me now. And I appreciate folks that come with an opinion. I really do. But I think you have to evaluate what it is. We knee-jerk entirely too much. We really do. And I appreciate Mickey saying what he did about Mike White. You're talking to the Mike White champion. You're talking to the guy that threw it up on the table and said, draft Mike White. Okay, that's wrong right now. It looks bad. It does. But I'm not going to crawfish away from it. To me, Mike White is a better player. What I saw in the 2-minute drill is more what Mike White is. That's what I saw of Mike White. Mike White needs to do that every time he takes a snap, not hold the ball and take sacks and show poor pocket awareness. That's not Mike White. Mike White is a much better player, but is he playing like that right now? Mike White is going to play poorly enough to make them keep 2 quarterbacks, and he probably won't be the second quarterback if he continues on this path. But he is a better player than this. He really is. There's a lot of better players out there that should be playing better.
Yeah.
John V. Johnson showed me the other day he is a better player out here, and he got in the game, and all of a sudden it's like he got nervous.
He
so
said
maybe against the Rams.
He said he had to get over some jitters, and that's normal for a rookie. And Mickey said he's had some drops. I still love his potential.
We all do.
But he's still got to show
and
it. When these lights come on this next game.
To get a spot on the 53.
To get a spot on the 53.
Absolutely.
The other thing you need to remember is the guys that didn't play for the Cowboys, there were 7 Pro Bowlers, either recent or some point in their career, they were Pro Bowlers. When San Francisco didn't play their starters, how many Pro Bowlers did they have that sat out? And my guess is maybe 1, 2.
Yeah.
I'm not versed on their history in Pro Bowls, but it's not equitable. So when you miss the likes of Martin, Witten, Cooper, Byron Jones, DeMarcus Lawrence, Robert Quinn, and Lee, you're missing top-flight players out there. So don't make hasty evaluations of backups and guys that aren't going to make this team.
All right, question from Jake off of Twitter. Donovan Wilson got an interception.
Yes.
My Aggie.
Yes.
Will he jump up the depth chart?
You know what? I think that he's had blue-white scrimmage, got 10 plays in that, couple of tackles, looked physical, nice break on the ball. They convert. It's like they go from a two-deep look to a single high look, and he comes down, reads the quarterback, makes the interception. He should absolutely get some more work. You know what? Let him get some work on ahead of Thompson.
Yes.
Let him get some work ahead of Frazier. You know what? Frazier and Thompson have had some good days. But, this isn't just show up and punch the card and, I play special teams. If Donovan Wilson has shown that he can cover a little bit better and be a little bit more physical and do some things to make this football team, he deserves that opportunity. If you find yourself around the football making plays, Darian Thompson, I don't need you getting blocked on the crack toss. I need you flying in the alley and making a play. That's your job. You're a veteran safety. Go do that. Kayvon Frazier, I can't have you getting blocked either. I've got you. I've got to have you in coverage. I've got to have you doing these things. So if guys aren't doing things, go out here and prove you deserve the opportunity. There's guys that took the big stage opportunity and deserve some more looks out here. I'll tell you what, the kid, the McElroy,
yes,
I'd throw McElroy out. Now, McElroy has no idea who he's blocking. None. He blew the 4th and 1 play. When they got stopped, he's got to come inside and get that block. But he got down the field and caught the football a little bit. Maybe you get him a little bit more opportunity to block. Maybe you throw him in there. He's standing next to me, us on Training Camp Live. By the way, it's your day today. Mick's day.
Yeah,
me.
But
on the last drive, he was the guy they were going to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you had to feel like, this guy's got a little bit more than Rico did.
Yeah.
And Rico, after 3 years, this guy's getting it, and he hadn't played much football himself.
No, he's played 1 year of junior college football.
Yeah.
He was a basketball player and a baseball player.
Figure out things for
he's
him.
26.
Figure out things for him if he's a practice squad guy for you at least. And I'm sure, but figure that out.
So can you keep 5 safeties?
I think you're going 6 and 4. I think that now. Okay, what's everybody think about the kind of game that Mike Jackson played? See, that's where that Mike Jackson's in that mix with Alumba. Alumba really didn't show much in that game to me. I'm thinking about, C.J. Goodwin got out there, not really much, but they're going to tell you he's a great special teams player.
How many DBs you keep?
You got
10.
Got your top 4 corners, and then I think it's is the 5th corner or the 5th safety.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go from there. Or can you keep 5 of each? Then I think
you used to
Wilson can make it and Jackson can make it.
You used to think 5 each was because you had Byron Jones. But Byron Jones is a corner now. Remember when we first started, it was like, they could move Byron Jones back if they have to. There are people on Periscope asking, would you move Cheeto to safety?
Why?
Okay, I'm just saying.
Is he not playing okay doing what he's doing?
Is moving to safety, though, to get Brown and maybe Lewis on the field. That's what they were going for the best
So
best
you're going to
4.
move your best corner.
Best 4 like best 5 on the O-line.
That's their rationale, Mickey. That's their rationale.
I get that, but Cheeto's he's looking so good doing what he's doing. I don't want to move him. I don't want to have him play a different position if he's playing as well as he is at right corner right now.
Yeah. Oh, I love when he's playing corner.
Left corner.
But the thing about it is, they were trying to think, okay, how do I get Brown and Lewis on the field potentially?
I mean, it's tough because I always want to see more Jordan Lewis. But Anthony Brown, Mick, I don't think you feel like he's done anything to lose his spot as the third corner.
No, he certainly hasn't.
No.
And Jordan Lewis in small doses is very good. I worry about Jordan Lewis playing 60 snaps.
People accuse me of not answering questions here.
Uh-oh.
Man,
are you crawfishing, Brian?
Folks, you're dealing with the wrong man today. If you got a question for me, fire it at me here.
Well, why don't they ask it?
I don't know. I think the guy's crawfishing on me. He's like, Broadus wouldn't answer that question. I don't even know what the question was. I actually reached out and said, hey, what's the question? Ask me the question, sir. If you have a question, I'll answer.
We'll have an answer.
Show yourself.
Show yourself, sir. Show
All right,
yourself.
We're out of time.
Do people have to use their names on Periscope?
No, they make up names. Like Mickey's fan. Mickey's biggest fan is like at Mickey's biggest fan is a guy.
You got some fans on Twitter.
We'll answer that guy's name.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate everybody checking in on Twitter and Periscope. Keep sending us stuff. We'll get to it tomorrow. We'll have a practice to recap. We'll keep talking about
Scout's
this.
Eye should be up.
Scout's Eye is up. Mickey's column's up. We got all kinds of coverage.
Training Camp
Training Camp Live this afternoon. All kinds of coverage. We got it blanketed here on DallasCowboys.com, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow on Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!